Welcome, friends. Thanks for coming. A bit of extended noodling there. just I got ready early, I guess, and just started. Just felt I don't know, the urge to purge. So yeah, just a little bit of. Okay, so to answer a question, there was a question in the stream from earlier today about whether that is or not me playing, and in fact, it is me playing live and improvised. I just noodle beforehand, and it serves the purpose. It's not really a performance, as you can tell. Just kind of noodling around with some ideas, repeat some, find something I like, and kind of sit on it for a minute. Often that's how songs are written when you're doing that in earnest, but it typically just comes from noodling. And what this allows me to do anyway is to kind of adopt a state of mind that is tabula rasa, if you will. I'm, again, not really thinking when I play, and I just chase the music to listen to what it wants to become, and again, find an idea and maybe sit there for a minute. But it's it allows me to sort of clear my mind. And so, although I will begin usually a stream with some idea in mind of where I want to go or a bit of inspiration, mostly it is just sort of inspiration in the moment. It is, again, kind of stream of consciousness, so if you will. That's where we are. Again, thanks for joining me today, and those who joined also this morning and yesterday's show as well. Delighted to have you here. Hey, Nachikita, great to see you. Doc Michael and Chelsea and Steve and Joe, I see you there. And Sue Finelli and Winston. So again, so great. I just I'll keep talking about it. And Janet, it's so great to see you guys here. Saw you at the festival, and just delighted to get to hang out with you. So this evening, let's see, what day is it? Yeah, it is Sunday, I think. Hard to tell these days, right? So here we are. It's the 1st of November, and yesterday I got an opportunity to hang out with Ceiling Fan Man. So spent the day out at his place and made some coffee for he and his lovely wife, and they made me some delicious salmon and rosemary potatoes and all sorts of fresh goodies. And we got to play with the chickens and the dogs and tell stories and just get to know one another. And it was a delightful time, and I can't wait to get back. We had a staff meeting, if you will. And Tommy Paint broke out a couple of staffs. He had given one to Ceiling Fan Man, and so I I said, hey, I want one of those. And just over 9 hours later, he texted me back and said, oh, they're here. So thank you to Tommy Payne. He made one for both my lovely bride and I. Mrs. Baldini and I now both have wonderful stabs. And so we'll definitely be using those as we walk around the neighborhood. It was awesome, Sue. We had just the most wonderful time, and immediately just love his wife. She is amazing. And so we had just a terrific time kind of catching up and sharing our stories with one another and breaking bread. And oh my gosh, she made fresh baked bread and rolls and chocolate chip cookies. And we had some green butter coffee. It was a delightful time. Only marred by the fact that when I got there, I said, "Hey, do you have an air compressor? I need to put a little air in my tire." He's like, I don't think I have the connection. I was like, all right, I'll get it on the way. And then before I even could make it to the boat, back to the boat, it had a flat tire. So I had to pull over and make a emergency midnight tire change. So that was not great. Yeah, I'm still a little worn out. I guess I'm getting old, and my wife and I were talking earlier this evening about it. We often discuss how youth is tragically wasted on the young. And that when you're young and know everything and have the energy to do it, you don't really know anything. And by the time you finally get it figured out, right, you get just enough figured out to be, hey, you know what? It's best not to be an asshole. Just by the time you get it figured out, you're so tired, you know? And it's like we were saying, yeah, when you get to, you don't really know anything till you're about 30, really. And then you're like, oh, okay. And you don't really become an adult until you're 40. And then at 45, you're like, oh, now those people weren't lying. This is some shit, man. Adulting is not for the faint of heart. I will tell you that. I have unfriended the aging process on Facebook. I just went, nope, blocked. So there you go. All right. So hopefully this evening, I was hoping to hear from Ceiling Fan Man this evening. Hopefully he will ring me up. But in the interim, I'll share with you some of what we were talking about yesterday. Again, we were kind of sharing stories. And one of the things that we came to, we were sharing our early experiences with the Creator and how we knew it was Him, them, and how we differentiate. Whoa, hey, that's loud. Well, and then it went away. I tried to catch it, and then let's see. We'll see. It looked like it was Ceiling Fan Man. Let's see. Oh, he left a message. We'll try again. Hopefully he'll call me right back, and I will answer this time. Yeah, right. Disco music is like, hey, staying alive, staying alive. But one of the things that we saw, early on as we were. Let's try to catch this. Oh, it says missed call. I said yes. Try again. Try again, Ceiling Fan Man. I don't know what's happening here, but I'm trying to say yes, I promise. But I'll continue the story. One of the things that when we first were looking for confirmation of the Creator, let's try again. We'll do it again. Hey, do I have the Ceiling Fan Man? No, it says I lost him again. Let me try calling you. Let's see if that works. Okay, do we have you now?
Yeah, let me try to. Hang on there.
Okay, are you there?
Yeah.
All right, CFM.
What kind of thing are you running here?
It's a fly by night kind of deal. That's the way we roll around here. I thought you should know that. You got to get hip to it.
Well, I'm learning, as they say. I'm learning.
Well, now you have a staff, and we both have staffs, and we can wave the staff over our problems, and hopefully it'll go away, or we can just use percussive maintenance and just beat the crap out of it until it works.
Well, I don't know. We've been using our staffs quite a bit, and it seems to be. I don't know. I think they increase in power, just like that Harry Potter thing. You just got to work at them until you figure out how to use them. So.
Oh, it's kind of like a magic wand, then.
Well, I don't know. You
okay.
Could say it that,
all right.
But,
well,
Moses had a staff, not a magic wand. So
well, he did. He did have a staff. As did Elijah and Elisha and many of the Old Testament prophets. They carried a staff.
Yeah. Joshua, a lot of them did.
Yeah, said to be wildly imbued with power. So, well, I don't know. I think it's the way I see it, honestly, I know this probably weird some people out, but I do think it's possible, again, with the using of intention and the ether around us, and it's the world was designed, in my view, to manifest whatever we willed into being, the same way the Creator did. And when you have an object that's with you all the time, I think that it is quite possible. It could be imbued with a sense of who you are, just the same way you walk into a building and get a sense of the people who lived there before.
The way I look at it too is like it's all I could do is potentially say intensify energy, because if we're all energy, including the wood that was put into that staff, it had a living energy in it when it was growing, and then when it was cut, and then it was hand formed, because Tommy does everything by hand and puts all the things on it, so all his energy got put into it, and then I grabbed a hold of it and been walking around. So I don't know. I think if anything, it can help focus energy, not necessarily manifest it, but it's a good way to help focus your energy, even if it's just in your own head thinking it. Well, it's still you're focusing.
Yeah, I don't know that it's manifesting energy as much as perhaps it contains it. Like, right, it just absorbs the energy.
Like an antenna.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, very cool. So I was just beginning to tell the story about how one of the conversations we had is our early encounters with the Creator, and one of the ways that it seemed to be so clearly confirmed, again, is not just a little whisper in your heart, but using Scripture, right, in a way that I guess would almost be best described as bibliomancy, right, which is a word that's used to describe the sort of, if you think necromancy, right, with the dead, but bibliomancy, like stitchomancy, has to do with looking at the printed word with the intention of getting direct, direct look into your life or whatever, in the same way you might I guess, look at any sort of divination, but this specifically from the Word of God. And it comes out, it's called the Living Word, and it's the only really printed word that I know of that works consistently every time that way. It really has the ability to speak directly to and answer questions or speak into your life in an amazing and powerful way. And we talked about how we both had that experience not only very early on, but as recently as like the last couple of days.
Yeah, I had one this morning. I was telling you about it. That's one of the things that I definitely would love to tell. I like everyone, I question things. I mean, I feel rooted in my feelings towards God and the Bible and all that. But I have moments of doubt and pain, as they say in the Stones. You know, we all do. And so I was finishing up Job, and what I do is I just play it on an app, and it just plays, so I can listen to it and do other things. And Psalms came on, and I hadn't read Psalms in a while. And just, if anyone hasn't in a while, go back and read at least the first, I think I read the first 6 and stopped, but definitely the first few Psalms, because if you're feeling like a lot of us right now, worn out, exhausted from just all the nonsense going on in the world, Psalms is basically David talking to God. And in some of it, God does talk back. And so I was listening to Psalms, they came on, and they were actually really settling my thoughts. But then I thought, I just had a question, and I asked God this question in my head. And right as I asked it, Psalm 4 came on. And Psalm 4 is David asking basically the same question I just asked. And then God answers me, or him. But I was just like, I literally just asked that question in my head, and now David asks it, and now God answers David, but I'm thinking to myself, it's like he just is answering my question, because it happened within seconds. So that's what you're talking about, the living word kind of thing. It can just out of nowhere become part of exactly what you're experiencing. It's pretty amazing.
In fact, if you don't mind, I mean, if it's not too personal, I'll read Psalm 4.
Please, I'd love it.
I'll do this. This is from The Message, a little bit, again, a modern kind of paraphrase translation. A Psalm of David. Now, keep in mind that I have Ancient Wisdom for a Modern World, that is the Sunday morning program, is the book of Proverbs, and that was written by Solomon, who was the son of David. And you hear many allusions to Solomon talking about his father giving him instruction. Well, David was the king prior, and I'm sure you've heard of King David, so this is a psalm or a song of David. When I call, give me answers, God. Take my side. Once in a tight place, you gave me room. Now I'm in trouble again. Grace me, hear me. You rabble. How long do I put up with your scorn? How long do you lust after lies? How long will you be crazed by illusion? Look at this. Look. Who got picked by God? He listens the split second I call to him. Complain if you must, but don't lash out. Keep your mouth shut and let your heart do the talking. Build your case before God and wait for his verdict. Why is everyone hungry for more? More, more, they say. More, more. I have God's more than enough, more joy in one ordinary day than they get in all their shopping sprees. At day's end, I'm ready for a sound sleep. For you, God, I've put my life back together.
See, that's beautiful, but I've just got to say,
King James?
on the King James, I don't have to read the whole thing, but the last 2 lines.
I'll do the whole thing. It's not very long, and I
please,
noticed immediately when I started reading from the Message. I'm like, okay, that's beautiful, but it's not. Yeah, it's not quite the same.
It's not exactly what I had asked. It's not what he answered, and the last line is the one that just
nails it.
It sends it home. Yeah,
I do find there's something about the old language that really, the closer you go back to the original, the better it works. Hear me when I call, O God, of my righteousness. Thou hast enlarged me when I was in distress. Have mercy upon me and hear my prayer. O sons of men, how long will you turn my glory into shame? How long will you love vanity and seek after leasing? But know that the Lord has set him apart that is godly for himself. The Lord will hear him when I call unto him. Stand in awe and sin not. Commune with your own heart upon your bed and be still. Offer the sacrifices of righteousness and put your trust in the Lord. There may be many who say, who will show us any good? Lord, lift thou up the light of thy countenance upon us. Thou hast put gladness in my heart, more than at the time that their corn and wine increased. I will both lay me down in peace and sleep, for thou, Lord, only thou makes me dwell in safety.
Yeah. See, and that's what, like, that was my question, because, there's internet is ridiculous. There's all kinds of crazy people out there that say horrible things about everyone, and that's just fine. And so then I asked him, I'm like, how is this able to go on? And then that's what this prayer basically tells me. Is like, he's basically, what I hear is, hey, you just do you. You do your righteous acts, however you think that, the things that Jesus and God and that God would want you to do. You just stay focused on your attentions and don't worry about it. The noise will just go away and he'll deal with it. He promises that. He'll take care of it and not to worry. And the very last line, I both lay down in peace and sleep, for the Lord he only makes me dwell in safety. So, I honestly picture, if we believe in the dome, which I do, we all have our own individual domes we can create, our own little what do you call it, firmament, to protect us, a shield. They show it in movies and stuff, and I believe you can expand that. And the more people you have together in your tribe, the bigger your expansion, your shielding will be. And just stay right with God, and you'll be fine. That's what I see.
And so one of my favorites, moving forward into the Psalm 5. This is, again, one that I know that, I have asked personally. And again, this is from the Message. And if you want to go back, and again, the King James does have a different way of putting it. This is, again, a little bit more modern and maybe accessible, but the idea certainly is carried here. Listen, God, pay attention. Can you make sense of my ramblings, my groans and cries? King God, I need your help. Every morning you'll hear me at it again. Every morning I lay out the pieces of my life on your altar and watch for fire to descend. You don't socialize with the wicked or invite evil over as your house guest. Hot air boasters collapses in front of you, and you shake your head over the mischief makers. God destroys lie speakers, bloodthirsty and truth benders disgust you. And here I am, your invited guest. It's incredible. I enter your house. Here I am, prostrate in your inner sanctum, waiting for directions to get me safely through enemy lines. Every word they speak is a landmine. Their lungs breathe out poison gas. Their throats are gaping graves, their tongues slick as mudslides. Pile on the guilt, God. Let their so-called wisdom wreck them. Kick them out. They've had their chance. But you'll welcome us with open arms when we run for cover to you. Let the party last all night. Stand guard over our celebration. You are famous, God, for welcoming God seekers, for decking us out in delight. And I love that. This again, this idea that it's a party, right? We stand guard in celebration. If I go back to the original King James, again, that last little bit there is. Let all those who put their trust in thee rejoice. Let them ever shout for joy, because thou defendest them. Let them also that love thy name be joyful in thee. For thou, Lord, will bless the righteous. With favor thou wilt compass him as with a shield.
Yeah, so there's the shield again.
Yep,
see? It's totally there. When you think about it, if he wants us to walk in his ways with all love and compassion and love thy neighbor, and then we do that, well, that's his covenant. He's like, okay, awesome. I got your back. Don't worry about anything else. That's why that saying, fear nothing but God. It's not a scary thing. It's an awesome thing. Because if, like you and I talked about it, I bring it up like a Mario Brothers game, like Donkey Kong or whatever, Mario Brothers. And so Mario's fighting all the different little things, and he gets past them. And then he goes to the end, and he fights the big boss, the big whatever it is. I keep forgetting the name. I call him Kahuna, but that's not his name. But, well, for this exercise, we'll call him the Big Kahuna. So that somebody in the chat will probably yell at me. But and then you get to the big boss, and he's really tough to beat. And you might not beat him and so forth, right? But the big boss, he can't beat the programmer that wrote the code of the game. He's in the game. But the guy that wrote the code, he can make that little animal disappear in a second because he can just delete it. And that's where I see God. God's outside of this. So yeah, Satan's probably the hardest thing, the big boss, the big kahuna, and you really can't beat him on your own. God talks about it in Job about the Leviathan skin so thick nothing penetrates it. But God can't, because he says he can put a hook in his mouth and just drag him wherever he wants, because he created everything. So if you make the creator of the program happy, well, that's probably a good place to be in my mind, you know?
Well, for me, the only way to make the programmer happy is to be in relationship. It's not a matter of the works that you do or the things that you do, trying to do for him or show him how smart you are or how much you know. It is about that relationship. Now, the relationship will increase the things that you know and will change your life, so your behavior will become more consistent with his. But it's the other way around. It is not right living that brings you into relationship. It is relationship that brings you into right living. And that's the only thing that I see that makes the creator happy, is to personally get into a relationship, not try to learn all the words, not trying to learn all the special secrets.
Right?
It's not
Well,
through.
that's the thing he talks about. It's like, okay, so in the beginning we were deceived. We didn't know any better. I didn't even know he really existed. Okay. But then once you figure it out, then he's like, okay, now you got to make a choice. Because if you continue to pretend I don't exist, well, that's not going to go so well for you, you know? And like you say, then how do you do that? By your actions. Actions are louder than words, as they always say. You can go and pray and quote the Bible verses all you want, but what are you actually doing? You know?
Yeah,
are you
if
really doing it?
If it doesn't change your life, it is worthless. In fact, it's worse than worthless, because it gives you something about which to crow, how well you're doing, but you're not really doing it. Right? If it doesn't substantially change your life. And I've told this to people who are longtime religious zealots. If your religion doesn't change your life, right, it's worthless.
Yeah.
It's doing nothing. In fact, makes you worse, because then you think you're doing something. Look how good I practice this religion, but it's not helping. Right? It actually makes you a worse person. And if the commandment is to love your neighbor as yourself, you can't do that when you set yourself above them with a self-righteous attitude. It simply doesn't work.
Yeah, and you know, and the channels that do things, the very negative channels, it's like, okay, some people are probably just paid opposition or computers, bots, whatever. Some people are just nuts, I don't know, or some people do it because they get money out of it. Who knows? But here's my point on this: those people also have other people that might listen to them. So I would just be talking to those people at this moment, because if you ever watch The Walking Dead, they had this guy called the Governor. He was a real evil dude, and he kept heads in jars. That's how he passed his time. He had an eye patch, and his right-hand man literally had a hook for a hand. So if you rolled up on that camp, how in the heck could you not see that's the evil side? You know what I mean? I'd be like, I think I'm going to go down the road and see what they're up to, with the guy with the bat maybe. I don't know. And my point is, if you're sitting in a room that's just spewing or speeching hate and anger and cursing, I mean, there's a reason that's called a curse. If that's all they're about, you might want to ask yourself, am I in the right room? Because I don't think Jesus would be hanging out in those kind of rooms.
Well,
just saying.
I can't listen to any of that stuff, and I don't. I mean, I don't listen. Yeah. I don't really want to hear any content whose sole content is to trash somebody else or their content. It's give just like the. To me, it's the same as censorship, right? Don't tell me what I can and can't entertain as an idea, right? So if you're telling me this person sucks then you're telling me don't entertain what they have to say. Just let me. I'll figure it out myself, right? I'm discerning enough. I always use as a litmus test: if love is not the motive, God is not involved. And I certainly see no love in attacking other people or their content. There are times when I will speak of behavior that I think is not helpful, but it's always about the behavior. It's never going to be about the person, because different people have similar or different behaviors, and I don't think a person is entirely limited to one set of behaviors. I certainly wouldn't want to be judged entirely for one set of behaviors, right? I'm a complex person. I make mistakes, and I want people to take in the whole, right, of what I am, the entirety of what I am, and I try to do that for other people as well as the things that I don't know about them, right? So I give a lot of latitude when it comes to understanding why people behave the way they do, even if it's at times reprehensible. Understanding that they may have been badly wounded at some point.
Yeah, I think you even said it. It's if you don't fix your wound, then you'll end up hurting someone that didn't cause it.
Yeah,
So
you'll bleed it.
yeah,
You'll bleed on people who didn't cause it. Sure.
that's it. Yeah,
Yeah, and that's the old saying is that hurt people, and
right.
it's absolutely true. And in certain, and what I've seen is that again, people who don't allow their wounds to heal, they adopt unhealthy coping mechanisms, and those always tend to harm people around them. Or themselves. They can adopt a self-destructive behavior. And having done anger management counseling, many of the people were there because of domestic violence issues. And those stories are so sad and so repetitive over and over. They are cycles of violence that often last generations, both for the perpetrator and for the victim. And you can see it at a distance, but those who are in it, just like what we see around us, they simply cannot see it. The cognitive dissonance is such that they have this myopic view. They cannot see themselves. And I think this is so true for those around us in today's world. The very question that you were asking that was answered by Psalm 4, that very same question, what is wrong with people? Right?
Yeah, right.
What is going on around us that people
Yeah,
behave
yeah.
in such a ugly, despicable manner in which they're so willing to harm another person. And even those, I was just had exchanged emails with a guy who listens to the streams, and he's a truck driver, lives near me, and we're going to try to get together. But he lost, like many people, for example, who I saw this in Salt Lake City, many people who left the Mormon religion, especially during the 70s and 80s, they knew that as a result, they were going to lose their job, their family, their friends, like everything. Their entire world would collapse if they did that. And they had for conscience. And the same with us when we find the truth and you change your worldview, people are now so intent on ostracizing those who do not share same views and call them terrible things that when people wake up or take the red pill or whatever you want to call this, being on this side of the veil, when you see things as they are, people are so offended by it that they will kick you out of their lives. And this person, unfortunately, has lost his family and friends and a job, all as a result of, finding out the world was not what he had been told. So it is a difficult and challenging road to go down. And again, that's one of the reasons I set up this channel to begin with, is to let people know that they are not alone, that there are others around
Yeah.
them who see things the same way, and that we can support one another. And
Well, actually, a friend of mine reached out yesterday that was struggling. We're all struggling with this. This has gone on. I mean, this COVID ranny nanny stuff. I don't want to say it. I don't want to take a stream down.
right.
This nonsense has gone on since March, and now they're talking a couple of more years they want to do this, and so once again, because I was in Psalms in Psalm 6, I don't know, the message one's actually pretty good, Psalm 6, but for everyone that's feeling tired and exhausted, first of all, it says in the end times that that'll happen, and just hold on a little longer. But he says that one. I don't know if you saw that in Psalm 6.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to read that one, you have a way better voice than me.
Oh well. Well, what I was going to show to folks is this. So again, I have recommended reading the book of Proverbs, right? The 31 chapters, one every day for 3 months. In the book of Psalms, again, this is part of why I wanted to do it tonight, right? This is a great place to find encouragement. And if you're down and seeking help or encouragement, this is a great place to find it. David went through a whole lot in his life, and if you read the story of First and Second Samuel, you'll find a lot of his story there. But he certainly was an interesting character. In fact, it is said that God called him a man after his own heart. But he also did some terrible things. He was essentially a murderer and had blood on his hands, such that God wouldn't allow him to build the temple. He left that to Solomon because David was a murderer. But also, he intently loved God. And so you'll find that these Psalms often go back and forth. Not all of them were written by David, by the way, but they do have attributions. But there are 150. Not just 31, but there are 150 Psalms and divided into 3 sets of books, 1 to 41 and then 42 to about 100, I think, and then 100 to 150, but divided into groups, and they kind of cover the periods of his life. But there are 150 of these Psalms. They kind of bounce back and forth. He's a bit manic. He goes back and forth between, "You're awesome," to "I'm a worm."
Right.
And it goes back and forth. So it's a very interesting look.
Well, specifically in 6, he talks about how he's just exhausted and he just can't understand why this is continuing and how long is he going to have to just wait for whatever,
Sure.
for his judgment and finally at the very end he says that God's heard my sobs,
Yep.
my requests have been granted, and my prayers have been answered, and the enemies will disappear, turn and run. And so the way I look at it, because there's people that don't quite follow the Bible, and I get that. I don't have a problem with that right now. But the way I saw it, the Bible woke me up to who God is. And for me, I found my path through Jesus. But if you haven't figured out, because I use the Bible as a guidebook, it really has told my history and I think where we're heading too. But if you haven't made that exact connection, just reach out to God. And then once you've made that, if you haven't, then ask him about Jesus, and he'll let you know.
Yeah, he'll tell you.
So you don't have to, take my word for it. What do you say? I'll just. What's that saying you always say? I'll just speak the truth. I might be wrong or something. What did you say?
I might be wrong, but I'm not lying, right? So,
yeah, yeah.
but ultimately, yeah, just ask Dad. I'd say, he says, if anyone lacks wisdom, let him ask. And I gotta say, yeah, he'll tell you the truth. You don't have to listen to me. I mean, I try to listen to it as best I can, and if I might get it wrong, right? So you ask yourself. So this is Psalm 6, and this is again a psalm of David. O Lord, rebuke me not in thine anger, neither chasten me in thy hot displeasure. Have mercy upon me, O Lord, for I am weak. O Lord, heal me, for my bones are vexed. My soul is also sore vexed, but thou, O Lord, how long? Return, O Lord, deliver my soul. O save me for thy mercy's sake. For in death there is no remembrance of thee. In the grave who shall give thee thanks? I am weary with my groaning. All the night I make my bed to swim. I water my couch with my tears. Mine eye is consumed because of grief. It waxeth old because of all mine enemies. Depart from me, all ye workers of iniquity, for the Lord hath heard the voice of my weeping. The Lord hath heard my supplication. The Lord will receive my prayer. Let all mine enemies be ashamed and sore vexed. Let them return and be ashamed suddenly. And that doesn't, again, just set the tone, right?
Yeah.
For the times that we have cried out into the night. And he speaks it very well, that he makes his couch swim with tears, and he waters his couch, and I have myself doused my pillow in tears throughout the night, and wondering where are you, Dad? And sometimes it does seem as though they are very far away, and they stand back. Largely, my experience afterwards is they're going to see what I do. And one time, this is a story I told you, I had one really terrible time in my life. And I was really struggling and kind of shaking my fist a little bit and saying, Dad, where are you? Is this the kind of God that you are? That you want to see me suffer? You want to see me squirm? Do you enjoy this? Right? Why aren't you helping here? And I said, do something, do anything. Just show me that you love me. And then he said, and if I do nothing, then what?
He called you bluff.
He did. And I stopped me in my tracks, and I said, where else am I going to go? And it broke me. But at the same time that it broke me, I realized that I didn't have anywhere else to go, that there was no one else I could trust the same way I could trust him. And I felt in that moment like a tree planted by the river, but whose roots go down through rocks into solid rock, that nothing would ever make me leave or abandon Dad, because he was never going to abandon me.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you live a life where you're loving yourself and you're loving God and you're loving thy neighbor as thyself, why is that a bad life? I think that's paradise. That's where Eden's supposed to be. And if that's the world God wants you to live in, I'm cool with that. And so what's wrong with that? I don't understand why people get so hung up on religion and the Bible and this, that. I'm not religious. I haven't been my whole life. I'm spiritual. I know where I live. And that's the beautiful thing.
Well, to finish that story,
Oh, sorry.
No, it's all right. But there is a finish to the story, which is after still a somewhat restless night. Joy did not return right away, but peace did. But the laughing certainly came in the morning. In fact, you'll find in the book of Psalms, it says that sorrow may come in the night, but joy comes with the morning. And true enough, the very next morning after that experience, I got up and on my way to work, I opened a door of my condo, and there was a door hanger there that someone had left in the night, and it said, "Did you know God loves you?" I shit thee not. That actually happened, dude.
That's fantastic.
That is a true story. And I laughed and I laughed and I went, "You are a nutbag for real." That to me, that not only was again profound experience for me, but also showed Dad has a sense of humor. Yeah, but that was a major changing moment for me in my experience.
Yeah, no, he probably has a sense of humor. Let me just
Um, you got really quiet all of a sudden. Are you there?
Oh, can you hear me?
Barely.
Not sure why.
Are you on your computer or are you on a phone?
I'm on the computer.
Interesting. You got really, really quiet all of a sudden, like dropped out almost completely.
Oh, can you hear me yet?
Nope.
We're good.
Nope. Let me try calling you right back.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry about that, guys. He just got really quiet. I did not touch anything. I think it just sounded like his.
Is that any better?
That's way better. Okay, so
Okay.
it's reestablished connection. Ta-da! Welcome back.
You gonna sing? Was that Cotter song? Welcome back.
Yeah, exactly. To the same old place that you laughed about. All right. Okay, so yeah, you were saying that yeah, you're not religious, but spirit. Yeah, I haven't been religious for quite some time. You know.
Yeah, people get hung up on that. It seems like I've even seen it in not just like whatever this is, truth or communities. I've seen it in like the kind of more religious side of the truth communities, I guess you would say, where people talk about God in the Bible, so, and people get into fights over everything, like even the word, like don't call him Jesus, call him Yahshua, or it's like come on, guys, like I've done a video, if you do this amazing prayer and then you say amen, it's not like God's going to go, oh, God, I thought you were talking to me, but then you end it with amen, and that's not me, and so never mind,
Oh yeah.
you got to work.
Oh,
you got to work on the dismount, right?
Yeah. So suddenly you switched over and it became Amen Ra, and so I discount this now. Or you said Jesus instead of Yeshua, and J didn't exist when Jesus was around, so there would have been no J. It's as if no, you said my name wrong. I'm out. And yet, again, we have hundreds of years of stories of people who weren't even had no experience with Dad at all, and in moments of demonic oppression, spoke the name of Jesus and caused them to flee. So apparently, the demons don't like it.
Right. Well, I think we've empowered that word because actually, there, if I remember correctly, I mean, I'm not that guy yet, but I'm getting there. But there's a passage in there where I think it's in Revelation where he says we actually don't even know his name.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know. And so maybe the whole thing of the name Jesus and it took off and got popular, it's become a power to where the other side doesn't like it just because we've manifested that to the word. I don't know. All the words are garbage anyway.
I think it's just, it's intention. To me, it's entirely intention. It doesn't matter if you say banana. If you are, however, thinking of, and non-ironically, I mean, banana is obviously a fruit, and so you'd be joking. But the point being, it doesn't matter what you say if the intention is you're calling on the only begotten Son of the Creator, that you would be intending to speak to Him. And I know that when I pray in the Spirit, I don't even often know the words that I'm saying. So, but I can tell that my spirit is connecting to Dad. So, again, it says in Corinthians that He understands the groanings of our spirit, that even my understanding doesn't have. I don't even know what my own soul speaks, but He does. And so when it comes down to all that, again, I don't think there's I've been around, as you say, religious people who get really bent over a variety of doctrinal issues, the state of the dead, what happens when you die, whether or not there's a rapture, or whether this or that. And they call those who believe in every way the same as they do, except for one particular issue, and they call them a heretic. Right? It's a heretical idea. So a heretic is someone who believes almost exactly the same as you, right? Because otherwise you wouldn't bother with to begin with. So, it seems, again, and this is what Jesus said specifically, right, is that they'll know you, by your doctrine, whether you have perfect doctrine, or whether you can speak my name with the perfect inflection and the right, phonetics. No, he said, by your love for one another. And
that's the thing. See, that's how I can't get caught up in it. Again, if you read the teachings, like Jesus says, if somebody comes over to your house, like, by the way, it was I feel very blessed that you were able to come over and we were able to have dinner and sup, as they say. But I asked, dietary restrictions, and we'll make a dinner according, and that's what he says. So if you have a vegetarian come to your house, you feed him vegetarian food. That doesn't make you become a vegetarian. That's just what you feed him. And if you go to someone's house and they eat differently than you, well, you work around it. That's how it works. So it's like if we I totally went off the train of thought there. I was thinking about the other dinner the other night. It was great. Your coffee is incredible. Everybody, he did not oversell the coffee. He said when I took a sip, I would curse out loud, and I did.
He did,
and I didn't,
actually.
I couldn't help it.
I know. I know.
I didn't want you to be right, but you were right.
I'm sorry.
So, yeah. But I don't know. I was putting words together, and it was going to sound amazing. So let's just pretend it finished.
Okay.
If I think of it later, I'll come back.
I'll
to
go.
it.
Wow, that was really salient and very profound. You speak in profundities, CFM, and we'll remember this moment for posterity.
No, there was a point to that somewhere, but you can edit this out, right? Yeah.
Nope. Yeah. I could, but I'm not going to.
Yeah,
Thank you, Winston. Winston says that it is effing awesome coffee, and I appreciate that. And again, it is so much better when you have it here. I was telling CFM yesterday as I made it for him and his wife. It took a little longer, right? Because I'm not in my kitchen, and things are unfamiliar, and trying to make it work. When I can do it fairly quickly in my kitchen, and it's perfect. Sometimes even better. Like it's 120%. Some days just really, really hits it. And my wife and I just look at each other and go, damn. or more. We say more than that.
Yeah, but it's like if you hung out at a great party, the next day you have a bad hangover. So I had a cup of coffee this morning, and I was just like, this is really not even a cup of coffee.
But I left you the ingredients. How could what?
Oh, I know, but I didn't do it yet. We'll have to try.
You didn't do it.
Yeah. Hey, I remember now. So there's this beautiful man I know, and he's Muslim. He's an amazing man. He's a good family man. I've known him for years. He give you the shirt off your back. He treats people just incredible. But the Muslim teaching, which I found fascinating too, since I'm learning all different religions, that the Bible and the Quran, very similar
very
ideas.
Close, yeah.
And they're still waiting for Jesus to come back again and the whole bit. But my point is we're always taught that those are the people that wanted to kill us, and the Quran is just full of hatred and violence and all that. But people say the same thing about the Bible. So, I'm not going to say that guy's not making it in, because God knows who he is. There's no way, if he's living the life he's living and treating the people the way he is, he's going to figure it out. And whether it has to go my way, that's up to him to figure that out. It's not my path, but I'm not going to hate the man for it. He's a beautiful person, that's what it's about.
I keep saying it's a good thing that I am not the creator, because I'd be doing a lot of smiting, right?
Yeah, right.
And but Jesus said specifically, I have sheep that are not of this fold, right? And he very clearly said it's not your place to judge. Just leave it alone. The only thing you have to worry about is work out your own salvation with fear and trembling, right? So do yourself, and that's been almost the entirety of my direct relationship with the Creator has almost entirely been about healing my wounds and making me a better person to better reflect Him. And that is it. With very little exception. Again, the only extraneous things to that have been helping other people directly, pretty much. There's been no go out and tell people you're going to burn in hell, hallelujah. That has never once come to me to tell people how bad they are. Because if you told me how bad I am, I already know. right? So that would come as no surprise. And it certainly, it says it's your kindness that brings us to repentance. It's not telling you how horrible a person is or how much better you are than them. That's just not the
Well,
way.
you also told me once that you have to respect someone's opinion in order for it to bother you, and I thought that was
That is
pretty,
true. I
yeah.
mean, if they're going to try to insult me, right, I have to
Yeah.
care about what they think. And there are some people about whom I don't really.
Yeah.
I consider it a compliment that their opinion of me is poor, because I wouldn't want to be in their circle anyway. I mean, I wouldn't want to be held as valuable by that kind of person because they don't value the same things I do.
I
So,
like that.
I mean, again, it's not for me. It's not a matter of hating other people or even thinking myself better. It's just that we have different values, and I don't want to be held in high esteem in somebody's eyes who has different values than me. And so the only one I really care who thinks anything about me is Dad, and I care what my wife thinks, right? And so because I love her and I want her to be happy, and so those are really the only people that I really care what they think. I mean, I want my boss to be happy with my work because it's how I get paid. And when I work, I don't work for my boss. I work for Dad, and my boss pays me. That's how I look at it, right? My dad gave me the job. He gave me the opportunity to work when I really needed it, and it's not the kind of work I want to do, but it's work and it's been steady. So and it's not even great work. It's it's kind of like the executive chef working at a hot dog stand, but it keeps me behind talking to you guys. So I'm happy to have the work. So I don't do the work for him. I do the work for Dad, and that keeps me doing good work.
And that's the thing. And so I try when I'm with you, I'll look at the chat because it's hard for me to do two things at once. That's my wife. But when I look at it and people are discussing, necessarily the Bible or Jesus, or again, I'm not saying that. I'm not here. It was beautiful that you invited me. Thank you, by the way. But I'm not here to convince anyone of the way I think. I just want to tell you that this works for me, and it's been working ever since I started doing this. And my life is actually getting better every day, even though the whole world seems like it's crashing. I've never been happier. There's so much joy in the world.
Really, your life is getting better? Because
Well,
I usually find that when people really take Dad seriously and turn over their life to him, their life goes to shit. Now,
well, okay, I'm experiencing a lot of what's going on in this world. Yes, no, but the joy in my heart has gotten bigger, than it ever has.
no, that's true.
And
Yeah.
and that's because of my relationship with him. And so all I'm saying is, if we all find this spiritual path to the Creator and loving everyone and trying to treat someone the way you'd want to be treated, and they're going to treat you that way because they like it and they want to help you just as much you help. It's a symbiotic thing. And if that's what you put in your heart, you'll find your path. If it's Jesus, you'll figure it out. And if it's Buddha, okay, well, you'll figure that out. But I'm telling you, if you actually make the real connection to God, He'll sort it out for you. You don't need me to try to convince you, and you don't need to fight with anyone in any room because of it. Because you can listen to my channel, and I'll never try to convince anyone the way I feel. I'll just tell them my experiences,
Sure.
and encourage it. But no, if you're my friend and you believe in God, but you go through a different way, but you're a good person, well, we'll still talk. I mean, look at you and I hang out. We don't always agree on everything, so it's just how it is.
Well,
I don't know.
Nachikita has said a couple of things very salient, both of them in the chat. One is that by implication, that means everything comes from Dad. Absolutely. I absolutely confirm. That's how I see it for sure. Is Dad testing me? Well, I'd say, to my comment that your life goes to shit, I've seen it over and over. But that is true. And what Ceiling Fan Man says is true. It's also gotten immeasurably better. So what happened was it destroyed my life. But that wasn't the life I wanted. And so the only way to get to the life that I needed to get to was by destroying the life that I didn't need because I wanted to hang on to it, as well as all those aspects of my life that weren't worth having. So it was valuable. It was absolutely valuable and, in fact, invaluable. Lessons to be learned. But the only way to get there is to have that life removed. And I think this is, again, the very idea that's talked about in the New Testament, that you have to die to self. You have to be born again. And that's the whole idea of what it is, that you really literally start over. You give up your old life. When you have a relationship with the Creator, If you were to look at it, I'm not a big fan of the machine theory or that your mind works like a computer. But if I were to press that metaphor a bit, it is that this is not like an app. Having dad in your life is not like an app that you run. It is an entire change of operating system. So that you have to literally switch operating systems, and the old operating system, Windows 10, that crashes all the time, it's a piece of shit. It clogs down. You get rid of that, right? And so you get something super streamlined and more like, I'm not a big Apple fanboy, but more like the idea that the software and the hardware are integrated, and it's exactly what it was meant to be. And so you perform much better. I mean, that's a weak analogy, but I think it does serves the purpose.
Yeah, no, it's what you're saying is 100% right. I didn't start where I'm at now. I went through all kinds of things just like everyone else. I mean, I've had like you say, broken down over times. And God was there and I didn't know it. And so the reason I say that things are better for me now is because I just realized he's real in the last few years.
Yeah.
We've talked about him. People know that, oh yeah, there's a God. Yeah. But you never really sit down and think of him as a real living creation that started everything. And if you take a moment and you sit down and just think about that, it just blows you away. So, and when he does talk to you that you know for certain he was listening, it knocks the wind right out of you.
Yeah.
So.
It's it is very again, just changing, right? So we talked yesterday about how in my life I had never questioned or been unaware of the Creator. But on the other hand, it wasn't, we've always had a relationship. It just always wasn't a good relationship. We were at a standoff for a number of years because, as I told you, I was very bad at being good and very good at being bad.
I like it.
and so I was tired of being beat to hell by both sides of the equation. That I always felt guilty about the things that I did, and I couldn't keep the rules according to Christianity that I knew, and I could engage in evil practices, and it felt good for a while, but it always had negative outcome. And so I was being tortured by this whole thing. And finally, Dad wouldn't give up and kept knocking, and so finally I relented. I was just so exhausted. I finally relented, and that really wasn't fully. Again, I went back and forth and had some amazing experiences in my youth a number of times. But really, ultimately, it wasn't full-time without separation or any stopping since about 32. So it has been some 22 years now that I have been full-time without any gaps pursuing Dad. And it has been a wild fucking ride. I will tell you that. Never a dull moment. But it is... as you said, the most valuable, important thing that I have ever done and continue to do. And I feel in many ways like I'm still at the very beginning. I'm still learning like a child. Every day comes some new concept or idea that seems so simple, and how I could not get that before, that I suddenly have some breakthrough, and it just the scales fall off my eyes, and I suddenly see things in a new way, and I'm like, how did I miss that? And they all seem like such basic concepts, really. And I think you could just ultimately boil it down to don't be an asshole. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just be good to people, like learn to love people, and that people are going to be ugly to you. That's it's going to happen, and you have to be big enough to take it. And the smaller you are, the more angry you're going to be. It is your lack of power that makes you want to beat them up or get back at them or get revenge, and that you don't like them and all these things. If you need that, if you need their approval, if you need them to like you, if you need to be right, all those things come as a result of you know that you're an imposter. You don't have real power, and the more power you get, and for me, the only power comes straight from Dad. But then I don't need the approval of anybody. I don't need anything they have to offer. I mean, I need to live and I need food to live, but I don't even really need money for that. I need Dad. He'll provide all of that, always has. And so right now I'm working for it. I'm trading my time for it and trying to do good work to achieve that for myself and my wife, because I'm responsible for her, right? So I have these responsibilities. So I can't just sit back with my thumb up my butt waiting for Dad to take care of me. But always when bad things happen, and they do, and I trust him, it always does work out. So one way or the other, right? So I know I can trust him, but I also know I have to do the things. I have to be a responsible person. And these things have been, I guess, I don't know how to say it, just the result of becoming an emotional adult, adulting in an emotional way, and learning to love people and learning to be loved in a way that is, again, emotionally mature. And not manipulating people to get what you want, or to get them to like you, or to try to seem like you're real mysterious and, some kind of guru, right? It's like that. Again, I don't. That none of that appeals to me, because it's not. There's no reality to it. It's all fake. The only reality that I see is the Creator and what He created me to be. And the more I become that, the more life becomes in living color, and no longer some weird black and white, creepy movie.
Yeah, and again, I just finished before I read Job. I think it was Ezekiel, and I found it. It says, because he talks about, even if these three men, Noah, Daniel, and Job, were in it, they would deliver only themselves by their righteousness, say the Lord God. In other words, you, by your actions, you can deliver your own soul. You can be the person that you're supposed to be and that God wants you to be by your actions. And the end of the day, you can't save anyone else. You can only save yourself. But maybe along the way, you wake some people up and they can save themselves too. So that's the way I read that. What are your thoughts, Baldini?
Well, yeah, I do think that that's a remarkable phrase there, right? It says that, I mean, yeah, again, basically, you have no power or influence or authority over anybody but your own self, and
Right.
you're the only one you can choose for. And the best you can do for anyone else is to, pray for them and to be kind and love them, be an influence on them that's a positive influence. And one of the things I got to tell you, and again, sort of intimate, and maybe, again, not trying to expose too much, but I think you're okay, probably be okay with it, is that one of the really amazing, lovely things about coming out and visiting with you yesterday was that we began to pray for those around us, those in our community who had asked for prayers that needed it. And I, told you about some of the people that emailed me when I made that offer on a stream a couple of weeks ago. And we had seen some amazing results, and that there was one person who said, it's actually even gotten worse. So please, and I'm like, yeah, absolutely, redoubling efforts, and I can tell you for sure that Dad is there with you, right? And so, but just the time we got to spend together and agreeing, with Dad for these people.
Yeah, and oh, sorry.
No, I was going to just wrapping up there, say that, yeah, there's the most beautiful thing is that in the first time we get to know each other, right? The first time we actually get to hang out, our thoughts are turned toward other people. And that's the evidence of who Dad is, right? We're not super people. We're just a couple of dumbasses. But here, our hearts are to pray for you, right? And to share with you the love that we've come to know from our Creator.
Yeah, because the way I look at it is there's only two options. I did a video on this just recently. Why are we here, especially during this time? Like, right? This is like clown world. I mean, come on, it's getting ridiculous out there. So why are we here? You got two options. Either the Creator saw us and said, I want you there because you're strong and you need to help other people. Or we decided, for whatever ridiculous reason, to show up at this time because we felt we were strong enough, because we need to help other people find out. Whatever it is, I keep telling God, I've told you this, He brought in the B team. I'm not sure why He tapped me on the shoulder to get a channel and start talking, but whatever, I'll do what I can. But that's the point. Every time that we feel hopeless and broken and beaten and like, what is the purpose? Why doesn't it just end, or whatever is a crescendo? Is because there's still probably one soul, two, three, I don't know how many, that some of us still need to influence, because I believe this is a pause button. They want the great reset. It's coming regardless. Something's coming. So this is a pause button for us to wake up, get ready, prepare, and help others along. And why are we doing this? Because we obviously, either he or we, felt we were strong enough to take it on. So let's take it on. As he says, gird up your loins, because it's time.
Yeah, as Winston said in chat, I wish sometimes that Dad didn't trust me so much. I'm like, yeah,
Right,
I know.
Every time I look at him, I go, really, me? I mean, did you see what I did last week? I totally screwed that up, but whatever. I mean, okay.
Yeah, I know. I do it all the time. All the time I do.
But then, like, for instance, and okay, you're oversharing. We're not. I'm just kidding. But, like, you had that stream where you broke down, and I found, since I've found all this spirituality, it's very easy to get emotional and break down over anything. It seems so fast. So what happened? You broke down in that stream, and then someone reached out to me who was having a struggle, and then we talked, and it's, it's just like this loop where we help each other, we support each other, and that's what it's about. That's why we're here.
I'm like, why you got to keep bringing that up? You think I'm Dak? What?
No, I told you the only reason that because when I do mine, I cut it and I can edit it out.
Right, there you go.
I could break down on camera. I got close a few times, but it's like then I can't even get words out, so I'll have to stop tape. That's why I don't do a lot of lives.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. If I covered the same material, it would happen immediately again, because that's that's the people. Yeah, that's who my heart is for. Right, is those people who are what I call beautifully broken. That I have always a place for them in my heart. And so when I get emails from people and they share with me how much these streams help them, I can't even tell you, profoundly touched, right? I mean, for me, it's a bit intimidating sometimes to share things that are private or whatever, and you're always going to get this pushback from people who go, oh, you're wrong, whatever. It's like, again, okay, it's okay if you think I'm wrong. It's cool. I'm not trying to say I'm even right. I'm just saying this is how I see things, and if that's helpful to some people, cool, right? I'm just trying to help, and if you don't find it helpful, cool. Super. No skin off my nose. I
know, it's funny. Like, do they yell at the TV when they watch Dancing with the Stars? Call up the ABC or whoever runs that one. Hey, I don't like that guy and what he's saying. I think, come on. It's so silly. It's so
cancel
ridiculous.
Him, right? Yeah, but it is so beautiful, again, to me, to get positive feedback from people, and that it's helpful to them, and it's such food for my spirit, right? Because to me, it's just, again, we're all in this together, and I hate that phrase, but
yeah, right.
But, from the context in which it's come out, but I am certainly attached to you folks, and we're all in this ride, and we see what's coming, and I'm just trying to encourage everybody, and we're all encouraging one another, and I can't tell you how much I'm so immensely grateful for everyone who shows up in the chat and watches afterwards when they can't catch it live, and just keeps in communication with me. These are the kind of people that, again, I would want to be in a tribe with. This is you guys are it. Brian Staveley says we're the best, and I'm like, yeah. I mean, and that's not an arrogant statement. This is the best place to be, and I am so profoundly grateful for each of you, and you too, Sue. I love you guys, and just especially getting to meet up with you in person, both you, CFM, and the number of people at the event last weekend has been just a profoundly just beautiful experience, and I'm so delighted to be a member of this community. And there's so many great people in it, too many to name, that we just come up behind each other and help each other out.
Right, and when everyone's hyper focused on Halloween and the blue moon and the election, and so we know that they do all kinds of like spell casting or whatever you want to call it, and then we kind of we're almost embarrassed to talk about the power of prayer. The power of prayer is strong, and it's actually our best weapon, and I don't even wield it as much as I need to, and I'm getting better at it every day.
Well, and I'm doing more of it simply by virtue of having asked people if I could pray for them, and I got enough response that it keeps me, just that part keeps me busy, right? I have a fairly active prayer life for myself, but at the time that I asked, and this is something I will frequently do, is if I'm going through a bit of struggle myself, I feel like, I am getting boring and just kind of being the turd in the punch bowl, even to Dad, going, "Hey, it's the same. It's me. I got the same shit going on."
Right?
And so to sort of break the monotony and to get me off of looking at myself on some issues that I can't really do anything about. All I can do is hand it to Dad, and I have. And so I'm like, okay, now what? And so in that interminable wait, while you're looking for something to happen, it's like, hey, I know that when I pray for others, He responds quickly and in power. And when I pray for me, not so much, right? And it's not because He doesn't like me. And I know that for sure, but it's because He wants us to share the burden with one another, and He wants us to be transparent and candid and open with each other about the struggles we have. And so it's important for me to reach out to people like you, CFM, and people that I trust, and to say, hey, these are things going on. Can you pray about this for me? And we share these burdens with one another. So when I begin to pray for other people, I have strong expectations, and I begin to see it right away that situations do improve, and often even it's not even so much the situation as the heart of the person involved begins to change, and they begin to see it in a way that changes their mediation of it. And that seems to be the biggest the biggest change of all is it changes people's hearts. It doesn't just change the circumstances, although sometimes it does, but it changes people's hearts. And that, to me, is that's been my experience with Dad the whole time. Is it changes my heart? It's not. It's not a gnosis or just a knowing. I mean, yeah, I've learned things. There are things that I know as a result of it, but most of those things is I know that Dad is good, right? Because we've had this relationship.
And they also try to, they try to ruin that too by making fun of it. If you say, my thoughts and prayers are with you, and everyone, they even do like, oh, that does no good. Take the guns because thoughts and prayers do nothing. No, that's just it. They're trying to dismiss it like everything else. Thoughts and prayers do mean something, and they're super strong. The thing is a lot of people just do lip service. They say it, but they actually mean it. God talks about those people. They go to church in their fanciest clothes so they can be seen, and that's where they get their glory. But the person that just is at home and is in a closet or just outside by themselves and talks to God, that's where they get their glory, is when they actually talk to Him. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, it's I strongly admire the Old Testament prophet of Daniel. And the things that he went through and faced, and the courage with which he did it. And that boy had balls, man.
Yeah.
For sure. And he stood right up to it, and he put it right out there, man. He risked his life more than once to say, I believe Dad will take care of this, when he had no really indication that should be so, other than he just knew Dad and said, hey, he'll take care of us. And he did. And so that is where, again, I'm kind of leaning more and more. And I think that as the situation around us becomes more and more critical, that the level that I will trust Him is going to only increase. And as these things happen, I mean, already I'm seeing what can only be called miracles. And I don't think it's a result of me. I mean, it's Dad, right? You just ask Dad, and if your intentions are right and you have people who agree with it, I think this is the way the world was made. It was made to respond, to manifest our thoughts as long as they're in concurrence with who Dad is. And so these are natural occurrences. It's odd that we should call them miracles and call them supernatural, because anything else is subnatural, right? It's unnatural. We live in a world that is decidedly unnatural. And that is a result because these natural things have been removed from us, and our mind has been taken away from us. And thank you so much. That is so kind of you. And anyway, we just, when we get together with each other and we agree before Dad about things that are positive and that love is the motive, I think it can't help but manifest. And so we're going to see more and more miracles, like literally miracles, occur because, again, I think that's the way it's supposed to be, and that anything less than that is unnatural, right? It's less than what we ought to be. And he said, Jesus said very clearly, the things that I do, you'll do these and more. And I think that's absolutely true.
Well, like I will always ask him if there's an issue. I try to figure out, could you give me the wisdom of Solomon, because he's supposed to be the smartest guy ever, and can you give me the heart or the faith of Daniel? And then you read that one passage in the Bible that says, if Daniel, I think it's in the Bible, I read it somewhere, if God kept the lions from eating Daniel, why wouldn't you think He can't protect you? I mean, it's like, if you either believe it or you don't. If you put all your trust and faith in God, you gotta go. You gotta go. What is it? Balls to the wall. You gotta go. go lukewarm. He doesn't like that either.
Yep, and that's, it's an interesting transition that you drew there, right into the book of Revelation. You're talking about chapter 3 of Revelation, which is latest Church of Laodicea, which is you're lukewarm. You're neither hot nor cold, and I would just spit you out of my mouth. But again, thinking of what you just said, again, I was just thinking about in the book of Revelation, it says very clearly that many of those who will be saved did so because they did not love their lives more than they loved God. Right, making very clear that many will face martyrdom, which again to me speaks very strongly against the idea of a pre-tribulation rapture, such that nobody who's saved will get to skip the horror. I think it is going to be bad for a lot of people, and so I just would say don't lose faith. And for me, I embrace that. I'm like, hey, don't threaten me with a good time, right? Send me home, right on.
That's
first class ticket? Are you kidding? Like, what are you retarded? Like, you just bought me a first class ticket. Come on. So, but again, I've said many times that if you have nothing worth dying for, you have nothing worth living for. And so I'm all over, again, standing up for Dad and for the things that are right in the face of, death or anything. It's like, I don't look forward to it. I don't want to be, beaten and whooped and pushed down. Nobody wants that, to have your life and your person taken away. But the trade, oh man, get out of town.
Right. That's the thing I was going to say. You're spot on point, because it's like, once you make this connection to God and you read up on it and like, okay, he says, only fear me. Don't fear the people that can kill your body and not your soul. So like, okay, so now you've literally taken the fear of death away.
Yep.
So what do they have on you at that point?
Nothing.
Again, I'm like you. I'm having fun. I don't want to like leave yet. I'm not having, obviously there's shit going on, but there's still joy to be found, and we're here for a reason. And God wants us to have fun, right? Be fruitful, multiply, and be joyous and all that. Joyous noise. He doesn't want us to sit here and moan about what's going on with all the people wearing the face stuff and all that, and the bees coming our way.
Exactly.
He doesn't want that. He wants us happy.
If Christianity gives you a headache, you're doing it wrong.
I like it. Hey, I hope my wife's listening. She got to put that on the quotes. But like, it's like that stupid lyric in the song where it says, "Life's a journey, not a destination." It's true, because what's the destination of life? Death. So don't race to that. Have fun along the way. Somewhere find joy, even with this craziness going on, and we're all exhausted, and nobody likes seeing everything that's going on. It breaks my heart every day when I go and I see everyone covered up. It's horrible, horrible, horrible. But he doesn't want you sitting in misery. Gird up your loins, as he says. We're here for a reason. So let's find some joy, and let's look for those people that need help, that are stumbling, and we're here to pick them up until the end.
Amen. Hallelujah, brother. Woo! Preach it now. Preach it. You get it out. No, preach it. I need some grits and biscuits right now. Damn. Ladling it up the gravy.
Look, you got the ceiling fan spinning. What can I say?
Oh, man. Oh, wow. You just opened my. Never mind.
No.
I got hungry for some prawns all of a sudden. Anyway, that would have gotten good with the salmon, right? Oh my gosh. Anyway, no, it's a great talk, brother. Again, it's always a delight to talk to you, and I always find out new and interesting things when we do.
Wow,
dude,
I get speechless, but you've train wrecked me at this point. I have no idea where to go, but
I love
my God, I'm so happy you invited me to these things. I'm shocked anyone wants to listen to me.
Oh, so. Dude, I don't care. I love talking to you. So I think other people love it as well, because you're so genuine, right? And this is exactly the kind of people I want to hang out with, people who are just genuine, and we're all, faulted. We're all just regular people trying to figure this thing out. But when we get in this relationship with this amazing being, it changes, who you are, and we can see it in one another. And so we can just sit around. Just like you could, hang out with somebody that you don't necessarily like, but you're both like the same sports team. Right? Well, I don't care about sports ball, but we both love the same amazing supernatural creator being. So when we talk about that, you can't help but get excited. And just, for me, I just fall in love all over again, both with him and his creation, right? And you, right? I just go, man, this guy's awesome. And so I had such a delightful time again, hanging out with you and the wife and the family. Got to meet the kids. It's outstanding, just a ton of fun. Hey, Wayne, good to see you. And so, yeah, just a delight to me. And so the more that we can do it, and I hope that we'll get a chance to work on, Flatober West or whatever we're going to call it, a chance for those in the Pacific Northwest to meet up, much as we did in the Southeast. That would be just amazing.
Yeah, I can. That we definitely will come up with something. Just anybody that's on this side of the West Coast, just keep your ears and eyes open. Contact me or Baldini, and we'll figure it out eventually. But there seems a lot of people on this side. It'd be nice to do something.
Yeah, and hey, Rob, seriously, Rob in chat, just send me an email, unintended.consequences3@gmail.com. You can find it in the channel description as well. You can, if you want to send it to me something via mail, you can do that. P.O. Box 2248, Lynnwood, Lynnwood, Washington 98036. And I'd be happy to talk to you and add you to my prayer list. Absolutely. Look, everybody knows I stay pretty busy, and so I'll respond as quickly as I can. It's almost always within 24 hours. Sometimes right away if I can. Sometimes a little bit later, but I will get to it. And I will absolutely. It's not just lip service, right? If I tell you I'm going to pray for you, it absolutely is going to happen. And so the rest is up to Dad, and I trust him in that. So okay. So yeah.
And I encourage everyone in the chat to reach out to different people, anyone that they talk to each other and they think like each other. Exchange emails or something, just so that way you do have some connection to somebody when you have those moments of doubt and sadness. I mean, if you look at my channel, every time I try to put a positive spin on everything. Doesn't mean I'm not negative. Oh my God. In fact, the man I'm talking to on this screen has helped me through some stuff. So it's just, we all need it. That's why we're here. That's why we're here for each other. We're here to support each other, even if we don't see the same way. We're awake to whatever it is, and we're in this room. So
absolutely. So yeah, and so again, a ceiling fan man making the offer. I'll make the offer as well. Hit us up. We're happy to again add you to our list. And I know CFM and I are going to probably talk more and more and get together and have this list that we agree on for people who are in need. And if you just need some reassurance or you need something material, whatever it is, right? Just hit us up. And Dad's got it all covered. I have learned throughout my life that Dad is really good. And I will also say this: he's very bad at explaining why. He's not good at that.
Yeah.
And so if that's your answer, if that's what you want, tell me why. Man, you're probably going to be frustrated with that. I'm just going to tell you now. Doesn't mean he won't,
people,
but
they should read Job.
Yeah.
If you want
for real. But it doesn't mean he never answer. I mean, I'm sure that at times he has, and I've seen him, even in Scripture, he says this is this and that's that. But overall, I'll say my general experience is that he doesn't really say, he's not answering why. What he'll often do though is ask you questions, and ask you, what about this and what about that, and get you to really come to the conclusions yourself. I guess maybe like a good therapist, right? And so lead you down the path and really show you things. Ultimately, what you're going to experience is love, and like you've never known it before, and in a way that's consistent and complete. That's what I can say for sure about the Creator, is that they are the very author and complete source of all true love. And without them, it doesn't exist, and there is no real love apart from them. And so everything else that we know is but a poor substitute for that kind of love. And when you receive it and learn to have it, giving it away is something that's not only available to you, but you love it, and you love to give that love away, and people respond well to it. And when you can give people a gift that they cannot possibly return, it does something to your spirit that I cannot really explain. It is the most powerful thing I've ever experienced. So I highly encourage it.
Yeah, no, and you're absolutely right, because that's the thing. That's what we were talking about. Those actions that you do, and in ways that you can maybe help someone either near or far, just your fellow human, and you can help, not expecting them to either maybe even know you did it or have no way of possibly doing anything in return. And next thing you know, you turn around and someone's doing something for you that you didn't expect.
Absolutely.
And that's how he works.
Well, just like, again, last night. So, again, I just can't thank you and your wife enough for your graciousness and hosting and the bread and all the stuff. We just had a delightful time, and we'll make coffee again. So,
sounds wonderful.
All right. Well, I'm going to let you go now, and I'm going to let our fine friends go. And I will hopefully probably talk to you again tomorrow if we don't talk again later this evening, which is likely because that's how we do.
Okay, and I want to tell everyone in the chat, thank you. I love you, and I really appreciate everyone listening to me. And have a great evening.
Is there anything you want to add? I mean, I'm not just trying to throw you out the door or anything.
Here's your hat. What's your hurry? I heard it.
Hey, CFM, come back when you can't stay so long. No.
I'll leave you with this. I had a really good friend we used to play poker with back when I was 18 or whatever, and a bunch of guys get together. And one time we started just going really, really late, and he had to get up and work the next day. And he got up and he started turning the lights off, and he goes, "Well, I guess I'll go to bed since you're all leaving." And I've never forgotten that.
Nice. That's classic right there. That's good stuff.
All right, I'll leave you with that. Love you all.
Okay, hey man, I love you too, buddy, and we'll talk again real soon. Probably, real soon. All right, guys, I will leave you this evening then with a little tune back in the day. Let's see what I got here. How about this one? This is called More Than I've Ever Seen from Joe Ray, Timeless Journey and Chat from way back in the day. This is 1993, something like that. I'll leave you with that, guys. Thanks so much for being here, and I'll see you again on the Poppycock Report on Tuesday morning with Rose 777.
Still burns inside for the light that I cannot hide. I walk on the edge of time, ride the winds of destiny. I hear the thunders coming, bringing me to my knees, like nothing I've ever seen. In my mind I hear the voices calling. In my mind I see the planets glide. In my mind I feel the end beginning. It's like waking up from a dream. It's more than I've ever seen. Shadows fall like angels' tears, leaves darkness on every